We've been looking at many creatures that went extinct thousands of years ago, like the dire wolf, dodo, and woolly mammoth. Today, we're going to look at another name from that list, the thylacine, also known as the Tasmanian tiger. For bringing back these extinct creatures through de-extinction, we usually find fossils like teeth, bones, and remains. In the case of the woolly mammoth, we've even seen in videos that its body, hair, flesh was preserved in ice. But for all these creatures, we don't have any real footage of how they actually lived back then. But there is real video footage of the Tasmanian tiger. Before we find out how that's possible, let's first clearly understand what a thylacine is, how it lived, and how it went extinct. This is AZ Discovery. The thylacine, also known by its scientific name, was a marsupial animal commonly referred to as the Tasmanian tiger. What does that mean? Wait, I'll explain it. Before that, the thylacine was a carnivorous animal. It once lived in regions of Australia, New Guinea, and Tasmania, but over time, it completely disappeared from Australia and New Guinea, becoming exclusive to Tasmania. We'll also see the reason behind that at the end of the video. The front part of the thylacine's body looked like a dog, while the back had black stripes similar to a tiger. That's why it was called the Tasmanian tiger. But in reality, it was more closely related to a kangaroo. It had a long tail attached to its body, which it sometimes used to sit in a balancing position. Its mouth was built in a way that helped it catch prey quickly. With large, sharp teeth, it could open its jaws wide, up to 80 degrees. I said it's a marsupial animal. That means, like kangaroos that carry their babies in a pouch, animals with such pouches are called marsupials. For example, kangaroo, koala, wombat, Tasmanian devil, and opossum. All of these belong to the marsupial category. Since the thylacine also had a pouch like that, it is classified as a marsupial animal too. Both male and female thylacines had a pouch on their bodies. In kangaroos, the pouch is at the front and positioned in a way that allows them to carry their babies while standing on two legs. But the thylacine walked on all four legs, so its pouch was located more towards the lower, rear part of its body. This positioning helped keep the pouch clean and free from dust. Female thylacines used their pouch to protect and raise their young. After birth, the babies would stay in the pouch for up to 3 months, where the mother would nurse them. Male thylacines used their pouch to protect their reproductive organs. When born, the thylacine babies were about the size of a small jelly bean. A female thylacine could carry up to 4 babies in her pouch at a time. On average, thylacines grew to be between 1 to 2.5 meters in length and could weigh up to 30 kilograms. Looking at it, the thylacine somewhat resembles a fox, and the stripes on its back look like those of a tiger. Because it has a pouch, some might doubt if it's related to kangaroos. But animals like these are a great example of convergent evolution. Convergent evolution means when different types of species evolve in similar ways to adapt to the same kind of environment, developing similar appearances or traits despite being unrelated. Example, fish and dolphins. Both live in water and have streamlined bodies, but fish have a certain type of backbone structure, while dolphins are mammals with lungs. Even though they live in the same environment and have similar body shapes, their ancestors are completely different. This is what is called convergent evolution. The thylacine hunted using the same strategy as a fox. When it spotted its prey, it would chase it from behind, and when the prey got tired, it would grab it with its jaws and eat it. For this, it had more jaw strength compared to dogs. The thylacine hunted mostly at night. It mainly ate meat, feeding on animals like kangaroos, pigs, and small animals and birds. The thylacine was very helpful to Australia's ecological balance, or environmental equilibrium. Ecological balance means that all living things in an environment, like plants, animals, insects, and so on, exist together in a proper balance. If even one species completely disappears or grows excessively beyond its limit, it becomes a problem. That perfect balance is what ecological balance is all about.
Everything you see exists together in a delicate balance.
Don't we eat the antelope?
When we die, our bodies become the grass, and the antelope eat the grass. And so we are all connected in the great circle of life.
For example, in a forest, there are tigers, deer, wild animals, and plants. The deer eat the plants to live, and the tiger hunts and eats the deer. Because of this, the deer population stays controlled, and at the same time, the plants have a chance to grow without being overgrazed. If the tigers disappear, the deer population could increase a lot and might completely destroy the plants. After that, the deer themselves would have no food to eat, which could lead to their decline. This would disrupt the natural balance. So, maintaining this kind of balance is what ecological balance means. Every part of nature is connected to one another. Any change that happens in one place will affect everything else. So, ecological balance is very important. Thylacines kept the population of small animals in check, maintaining the proper balance. But after the thylacines went extinct, those animals multiplied excessively, disrupting the balance. The main reason the thylacine went extinct is because of us humans. Just like in the story of the dodo, when humans came to Mauritius, they hunted and wiped out the dodo species. Similarly, when Europeans came to Tasmania, they destroyed the habitats of the thylacine. We have a brief video about the dodo on our channel. Those interested can watch it. Now, let's talk about the thylacine and why humans destroyed it. There was a rumor that the thylacine was a dangerous animal, that it hunted goats, cattle, and destroyed crops. The people living there believed these rumors. Because of this, animals like the thylacine were seen as harmful and were killed. The Tasmanian government issued a notice announcing a bounty, a reward payment, for killing thylacines. In short, the old people who hunted and killed animals were promised rewards, so they started killing more and more. Because of this, Tasmania tigers were heavily hunted, and their numbers began to decline little by little. It is recorded that between 1888 and 1909, over 2,000 thylacines were hunted. It's not true that the entire species went extinct only because humans hunted them. The thylacine also faced strong new enemies. In every movie, if there's a hero character, there's definitely a villain too. Similarly, for the thylacine, a villain called the dingo came along. The dingo is a wild dog found in Australia, but it wasn't originally born in Australia. About 4,000 years ago, dingoes are believed to have been brought to Australia by humans from places like South Asia, Indonesia, and Papua New Guinea. Both the thylacine and the dingo are hunting animals. So, dingoes started hunting the small animals that thylacines used to hunt. Thylacines hunted individually, but dingoes hunted in groups, which increased the competition for food for the thylacines. The male thylacines were slightly larger in size compared to the females, so they could somewhat defend themselves against dingoes. But since the female thylacines were smaller in size, they couldn't handle situations where food was scarce due to the presence of dingoes, and they started disappearing quickly. If the females disappeared, it would affect reproduction too. So, after the arrival of the dingoes, the Tasmanian tigers gradually started going extinct as a whole species. So, even though thylacines were once found all over Australia, they gradually went extinct, and in the end, they were found only in Tasmania. That's because dingoes hadn't reached Tasmania. That's why, until humans drove them to permanent extinction in the 1930s, thylacines lived only in Tasmania. Not only that, but a mysterious disease also affected their reproduction. A wild Tasmanian tiger was roaming around in the Ngunnawal region of Tasmania in the year 1930. At that time, a farmer named Wilf Batty, who lived there, saw something wandering near his field at night. When he realized it was a thylacine, he thought that if he let it go, it might damage his field, so he shot and killed it with his gun. This is the last wild thylacine shot by a human. Then, when it was discovered that there was only one thylacine left, they realized that if they lost that one too, the entire species would be gone. So, to prevent the thylacine from going extinct, the Australian government decided to keep it protected in the Hobart Zoo. Its name was Benjamin. Just 2 months after it was announced that it should be protected, on September 7, 1936, Benjamin, the last Tasmanian tiger, died at the Hobart Zoo. The main reason for its death was the negligence of the zookeepers. At that time, the weather was quite cold, and instead of keeping the thylacine inside a shelter, they left it outside. Unable to bear the cold, it died. There's a reminder of this tragic destruction caused by humans. The recorded footage of that last thylacine during its final moments is what we're still watching today. It was only after that the thylacine species was officially declared extinct. Scientists have included the thylacine in the list of extinct species they're trying to bring back, so they are working on reviving it through cloning. Just like the dire wolf, if they bring this back through cloning. I'm also really curious to see whether the de-extinct thylacine will look exactly like the original thylacine. Let's wait and see. I'm sure you would have learned a lot of interesting things about the thylacine from this video. To discover more fascinating facts like this, join me and subscribe to AZ Discovery.